I'm being joined by the Executive Governor of Nasarawa State, Governor Abdullah Sule. He joins us live from Lafia. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for joining us tonight on the program. Perhaps a good way to begin is to give us an insight into what President Buhari and your colleagues governors discussed at the presidential villa.
Thank you very much, Sheun. I think first and foremost, even though I'm not the spokesperson of the governors, the governor of KB is, but when you want to know probably what was discussed, since I happened to be there, you know, it was a courtesy call that the governors of APC decided to pay Mr. President in order to show appreciation to him, you know, for everything that he had done so far. One, accepting to be the chairman of the campaign of our presidential candidate, and also to thank him for accepting the DG of the campaign, you know, that is the governor of Plateau State, you know, Barrister Lalong, you know, to be the DG, as well as most of the other members. So the president has agreed, you know, to lead the campaign in that era. So the governors felt it was necessary to go and discuss with him and then be able to hear from him, you know, his line of thoughts. And that's what the meeting was mostly all about. And like you reported, you know, we didn't expect the president to say anything different from what he has always said. He always said that he believes in democracy and he will continue to support democracy. And he has seen it all. He has seen a situation in Anambra where another party won. He saw also the situation in Ekiti where our party won. And he saw another situation in Osun where another party won. And in this case, all the three different states had different political parties altogether. And he mentioned that that's what democracy is all about. So the moment people say this is the direction they want to go, that he will support the direction of the people. And that's all he said, you know. So, and I exactly just the same way he reported.
In that visit, Governor Sule, does it appear to the president, because a guest of mine yesterday said that there is anger in some Nigerians, some of them who feel passionate and emotional about the state of the economy, the state of security in the land, and they are going to show it in 2023 election. Does the president, perhaps at some point in that meeting, reflect that kind of the mood of the nation and a possibility of impact on the chances of your party at the polls?
Well, the president is more familiar with what is happening in the nation than I do, for sure. And I believe the president listens to what is happening in the country and he reacts with that. You know, when you talk about issues of economy, when you talk about issues of security, when you talk about issues of everything that is going on in the country, I think the president usually has first-hand information, you know, because he receives information on security from the security agencies. He receives information from the central bank. He receives information from the NMPC and all the other sources of the economy. He receives information from his various ministers about what is happening in the country. And of course, he has received information from all the governors about what is happening in our various states. So he's very familiar with what is happening, but the president is also not sleeping. You know, he's constantly, you know, reviewing what is happening in the country, and he's constantly also talking to people, and he's trying to solve one problem or the other for the country.
So, I mean, the reason why I asked that question is the impact that will have, because if you ask some Nigerians, especially some people maybe in your states that have been affected by the insecurity that we have been experiencing in some part of Abuja, part of Nasarawa, part of Gombe, part of Niger, part of Kwara, will perhaps be imagining how or what the APC will be telling Nigerians when they get to the campaign podium in 2023. Is that realization done in the room with the APC governors when you had that meeting? Is that reflection vivid?
Well, the fact is there has never been any election in the history of Nigeria where there are no challenges. There are issues about challenges for every election that we ever had. And most of these other issues you mentioned, you know, in most cases, we're always there. You know, it is the moment there is election is coming much closer, you know, you will continue to hear that. You are saying that a lot of Nigerians are saying that, yes, they are going to show APC something something in 2023, there are so many millions of Nigerians also that are saying the opposite because of what they have experienced. And a good example is what you are saying, for instance, right now in the area of security, for instance, while the northwest part of the country and most of the north central part of the country will be complaining about what is happening today, and the government is doing the best that it's doing at the moment, but the people from the Northeast will be celebrating based on what they inherited, what this president inherited and what he has done. So the same thing with the economy, one section of the country will be having difficulties. Economic situation challenges are worldwide, that you are seeing. So it's not just it's not just in Nigeria, it is actually everywhere around the world. When you talk about issues of challenges, you go to Europe, you go to North America, you go to South America, you go to Australia, every country in the world is facing one challenge or the other, but the country has not collapsed just because we are facing challenges. So the God Almighty has given the president and the government, of the various states also, the wisdom, to see how we can overcome some of those challenges. And that's what we have been doing.
Well, so the question here, Governor, is the role of government and politicians who have the mandate to steer the affairs of the country or the state, as the case may be. The critical question here is whether or not the acceptance of your party, and in any case, we're seeing that happening, the consultations that your presidential candidate is having. Now, this is one of the criticism coming over that consultation is those who believe that it is a matter of jita, that there is the fear, maybe, of acceptance across the divide, either ethnic, religion, or across the ocean in the country of your party, of your presidential candidate, based on the performance of your party, based on what it promised Nigerians and what it has delivered, at least in over 7 years that he's been in power. Now, in the conversation with your presidential candidate and other people, the former president, could it be, I mean, for those who say it's jita, how would you react to that?
I think they have forgotten the history of what election is all about. And they don't also give respect, actually, to some of these leaders that are being visited. These leaders you are talking about, every one of the presidential candidates has visited them. The Labour Party has visited President Obasanjo. They visited General Babangida. They visited Abdul Salami Abubakar. Well, President Obasanjo recently visited Abubakar. He's not even in the election. He visited some of those same leaders you are talking about. Now, if you are talking about Asuwaju Bola Tinubu, he was a governor when President Obasanjo was actually a president. And he had close working relationship with every one of these three people you are talking about. So if he visits them, it's not jita. Every one of these other people that you are talking about, of these candidates, they visit them. They visit them to discuss several issues about the country. We are all worried about the country. We need to have a country first before we can have leaders. So they are all worried about the country. They hear from them, they guide them, and at the end of the day, we are going to have a president, and whoever is the president is that we are going to have. This president needs guidance and advice, and from all these people because of their experience. So I don't see any jita in it. I think I see a true politician that believes in the politics of this country, that respects our leaders, and it visits our leaders to hear from them. And I think that's the right thing to do.
Perhaps one of the moral questions that have been raised here is when you have established a political enemy, you have established a political opponent, someone you have spoken strongly against in the past years. So the question is, what has changed? And when you start going and visiting some of these people that you have obviously have differences with, politically speaking, now seeking office, and you're being seen at their doorstep, knocking on their doors, for those who are watching on the sidelines, will have to interpret it the way they see it. So for your party, and perhaps for those who are criticizing today about the visitation and the knocking on the doors of perceived political enemies, what moral lesson can one take away from that from the perspective of the APC?
The moral lesson is very easy, Sheun. It tells you that in politics, you don't have permanent friends and you don't have permanent enemies. We have seen that over and over and over. We have seen people who have crossed over from one political party or the other. We have seen people who have sworn that they will never, ever leave certain political parties and they left. We have seen other people who claim they will never, ever go back to certain political parties and they have been. So I think in politics, from what you can see, we have seen people who say they will never work with certain people and they are working with those people today, so that tells you there is nothing wrong with what they are doing.
So does it mean, Governor, apologies, does it mean, Governor, that Nigerians should not believe politicians for what they say? Whatever politicians say, you should just take it for the face value. You can never believe what politicians say. When they call enemies, tomorrow becomes friends. No one is saying that you should have permanent enemies, but if you have philosophical and ideological differences, people, then because you're seeking office, then you'll start knocking on their doors. Should we ever believe what politicians say?
Yeah, I don't believe we had somebody like Asuwaji Bola Tinubu that sworn. He has sworn enemy in Obasanjo. He has sworn enemy in Abdulsalam Abubakar. He has sworn enemy in people like Babangida. I don't think he has sworn at any time. I'm yet to see that he has sworn that they are his enemies and he will never ever work with them.
I'm talking about ideological differences. I mean, if you have ideological differences politically, especially on politics and ideas that you have not aligned with people, and then on the same platform of politics, you are then realigning with them because of the sake of seeking office. So it then brings, because politics basically is the ability to convince the voter that you have a trustworthy ideology and philosophy that they can tap into. So this is a fundamental moral question that is being raised.
Yes, and that is an excellent question, and it has an excellent answer. The idea is that just because you have different ideologies with certain people doesn't mean that they don't have ideas to share with you for the benefit of the country. These people are Nigerians. These people were former leaders of this country. These people have seen it all. They were there when Nigeria was at war. They were there when Nigeria was at peace. And these people can share ideas about the future of the country. So you go in to take. Not everything they have said. Asuwaji Bola Tinubu has not gone to any of these people to say, my own ideology is bad. I'm throwing it away. Give me your ideology. I don't think he said that. He has visited these people to hear from them, their views about what is in there for the country. And I think that's the right way. That's what a good leader should do. He has not said that I have a bad ideology, I don't need it, give me your ideology. He hasn't said that anywhere. That's the way that you have to look at it. People sit on the sidelines and they are just forming these ideas. What is Babangida's ideology? What is Asuwaju's ideology that are different today when it comes to area of security, for instance? This is the point. And I think that's the question. That is the way to go, Sheun.
Because I know, you are an engineer, you're a scientist fundamentally, so you have a very critical view about issues and analytical perception of issues. So my last question for you, Governor Sule, would be the state of the race right now. If you look at it, for those, usually our elections have always been a two-horse race, our presidential election. But this time around, there are those who believe that it's not going to be so. Perhaps, in fact, the ruling APC, that is the sitting party, will have a tough time in this election, more than we have ever seen a ruling party having a Tory time at any election in the side of the continent. Now, what do you see from where you're standing? Where you're sitting, you're not standing actually, where you're sitting. And the question I'd like to ask you is also on a question of telling Nigerians the truth tonight about the state of affairs and, morally speaking, what the APC will be telling Nigerians. Do you see this as a three-horse race? Do you see the angry Nigerians voting against your party? Or what exactly do you see?
You see, Sheun, is so early to tell all these things you are saying. The campaigns have not even started. Okay, we are yet to see people out there sharing ideas. We are yet to see the kind of campaign that is going to come. Are people going to be attacking personalities, or are people going to be talking about issues? We have not seen that yet. The issue so far that you are seeing that people mostly in the social media, the angry people and the happy people, the same way you have angry people, you also have very happy people. So you have these people who are angry, you have people who are happy. You have seen everywhere Tinubu has gone so far, the way he is received. So definitely those kind of people may not belong to the category of your angry people that you are talking about. And then when you go to some other places, earlier on before we started this discussion, I saw one of the presidential candidates that was earlier reported. He went to one state where he was actually booed. And now he said he was not booed. We just had that right now. So Tinubu has not gone anywhere where he has been booed, for instance. Tinubu has not gone anywhere where anybody had thrown stones at him and things like that. So where are these angry people at? So I think these angry people is an imagination, is a perception, and so far we have not even started the campaign yet. So it is too early for anybody to tell you, anybody who is going to tell you, this person is going to win, this person is going to lose, this person is going to win, then he must be talking about another country, not Nigeria. Because so far, the campaign has not even defined a direction yet. This is my understanding of it.
All right, Governor Sule, I'm just mirroring what exactly is happening in the society. Some of us are closer to them than some of you who are in government. But thank you so much, Governor Sule. It's always a pleasure talking to you. Indeed.
That is what you think, Shehu. We are very close with the people. You are in Abuja, you are in Lagos.
I'm a man of the people. You never can tell, Governor Sule.
I'm here in the creeks. I'm going from one village to another.
In the trenches,
you walking down in one village, I'm there. So which people are you close to that I'm not close to?
I'm a journalist that reports what the people say, so I'm very close to the people.
I'm one of the governors that stay more in my state than anywhere else. And I'm right here in the creeks, and I'm going from Karu down to Mararaba tomorrow. I'm actually in Akwanga, I'm in Wamba, I'm just everywhere.
By the way, how is the security in your state now?
You will tell me the creeks, then I will tell you mine.
How is the security in your state? Things are better now, is it?
You say what?
The security in your state, are things better now?
No, the security situation in our state, we are very happy. We are a state that is relatively peaceful. Yes, you will always have maybe one kidnap or the other, one issue here or the other, but I think everybody so far, we have not had today. I have had people that came all the way from China. I had people that came from Hungary. They didn't fly to Latvia, they drove. And then we had that. So I think we're a state that we're very, very thankful to the Almighty God. We're thankful to the federal government for the support. We're thankful to our people. So we're relatively peaceful. And we see more investments coming in.
Thank you. We wish you and the people of Nasarawa State the very best. Thank you so much, Governor Abdullahi Sule, Governor of Nasarawa State, for your thoughts there.
Thank you, sir. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate it.